trust that when you hit that stone, that obstacle, that roadblock, you have to trust that you will find another way around it or another way to make it happen. And
this is the How to Quit Working Show. Jeff Steinman believes entrepreneurship is the only true path to freedom. That's why he created the How to Quit Working Show, where you'll hear stories, insights, and inspiration from lifestyle fanatics who left their soul-sucking 9-to-5 job forever. Now, here's your host, author, entrepreneur, and ultimate lifestyle fanatic, Jeff Steinman.
Hello and welcome to the How to Quit Working Show. I want to talk about trust today. Not trust like trusting other people, but like trusting that you're on the right path and that you're doing the right thing and that things will work out. And by work out, I don't mean you're going to get your way precisely, but what I mean is that they are going to work out okay in the end if you honor and trust that what you're doing is the right thing. And I know that's not an easy topic because it's a complete reversal of how you were taught to think about things and how we normally talk and think about things in this world. So it's a great topic and I look forward to talking about it with you. And while you're waiting for me to get started, why don't you head over, if you're near a computer, to howtoquitworking.com/circle and join the How to Quit Working Circle. And the reason I want you to do that is because you're going to be exposed to a bunch of other people who are just like you, who want the same things out of life, who are looking to make big changes in their life. They're looking to use entrepreneurship to create the life that they've always wanted. And you also get a free video training series and regular special offers from me with all kinds of really cool stuff. And by the way, it doesn't cost you a penny, so just go on over to howtoquitworking.com/circle and jump into the How to Quit Working Circle, and I look forward to seeing you there. Now, let's talk a little bit about trust. And again, as I said, I'm not talking about trust as in like trusting other people or, not being cynical about other people's intentions. That's an important topic and one that I could probably do another show on. But what I'm talking about is trusting outcomes. You know, the thing that's so interesting about this journey is, and how it's been for me, is that I guess the thing I want to start by saying is that you're probably going to listen to this and you're probably going to say, oh, this makes a ton of sense. This guy gives really good advice and I think this makes a lot of sense and this is what I need to do in my life. But then you probably won't actually do it because you can understand it intellectually. And I think that intellectually, when you finish watching this video, you're going to be like, yeah, that's all good stuff. But understanding it and what's the word I'm looking for? I guess accepting it intellectually and being open to it intellectually is totally different than actually practicing it. And I cannot I can't put in words how much different it is. I think that because I've reached a point where I have mastered this in my life, it really helps to put into perspective for me the difference between understanding a concept intellectually and really and truly integrating it into your life and really truly believing it. And I think that it's the integration of it and it's the seeing it work over and over and over and over again that allows you to really shift into making it more of a way of life than just a thing that you share on Facebook because you think it sounds good, right? And I think that's one of the big distinctions, and one of the things that I really want to bring to How to Quit Working going forward is this whole idea of, it's one thing to study this stuff and to read it and to understand it intellectually and to accept it and believe it intellectually, but it's a whole different thing to integrate it into your life. And that's kind of why I want to talk about this in that context, right? So, I guess the first thing that, as we talk about the concept, I want to bring home the thing that I'm actually talking about. So when I say trust, what I'm talking about is believing that if you do the right things, if you do the things that are true to you and true to yourself, that the details will work themselves out. And I want to be careful there, because I don't mean the details will work themselves out magically, or that, you know, something magical or crazy will happen, or that there's somebody who will do all this, put all this stuff in place for you. What I mean is that there is a path that you can take, and that path is authentic and genuine to who you are and what you really want out of life. And if you take that path, there are multiple ways that the details can get worked out along the way. And the whole idea of planning something out, and this is a huge departure from how we think of things in this world, especially if you work in corporate, or you've come from corporate like I did. This is just such a foreign concept. I mean, you just look at it like, like when a dog raises their ears and tilts their head because they just don't understand what's going on. This is how I think most people look at this idea. But typically what we do is we think about moving forward in whatever as being something that you have to plan out, right? You have to say, okay, this is the thing that I'm going to do, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do that, and this thing is going to get that result, and then this thing is going to get the other result, and on and on and on. And we all know that it never freaking works that way, right? I mean, how many times do we make a plan and say, oh, well, I'm going to do this, 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 and it's all going to work out beautifully. And it doesn't freaking go anywhere near that way, right? I mean, just a simple thing like what you're going to do, like what you're going to do on a Saturday. Like I'm going to go to the home improvement store, I'm going to pick this up, then I'm going to go get groceries, and then I'm going to pick the kids up from here, and then I'm going to do that. That all sounds well and good, but you also know that like you're going to hit traffic, and the kids' thing is going to get moved or rescheduled, or there's going to be a friend of the kid that needs a ride, so you got to veer off the path and make that happen. And then there's going to be a long line at the grocery store, and they're going to be out of the thing that you want, and it never works out the way you think it's going to be. And we all understand that. Like, we all get it. We all understand that life just rarely works out the way that we expect it to. But for some reason, we believe that we're supposed to put all these plans in place and expect them to work out, even though we know full well they're probably not going to. So, I mean, that's just lunacy. It's just lunacy to believe that the way to accomplish something in life is to put together this grand master plan of all of the things that you're going to do and how you're going to do them and the outcome that's going to happen and the resources that you need and this and that. And that's not to say that you shouldn't think ahead a little bit and think, well, maybe I need to do this to plan for that. And that doesn't mean that. What it means is that you can't hang the hat of your success or your future or your life on this plan that you put together for things to come out a certain way. It just doesn't work. The only way to move forward and be successful in the way that you want to be successful and live a life that's authentic and that is everything that you want it to be is you have to flow like a stream flows through the mountain, right? You have to, when a stream is flowing down the mountain and it gets to a stone or a rock or a hill, it doesn't get frustrated. It just flows around it. It just flows over it or under it or splits off and goes two different ways or whatever it is. The water flowing down the mountain doesn't get frustrated. It just takes whatever route it can figure out, it can take, right? And that's the approach that you have to take with your life. And the problem with that, and the thing that makes that so hard for folks, is that it is completely impossible to plan. It is impossible to plan what roadblock or stone you're going to hit that you're going to have to figure out a way to flow around or past. And that's what makes people so uncomfortable in this situation of trying to figure out how to build their life and how to successfully figure out how to do the things that they really want to do. The problem is that we believe, for some ludicrous reason, because we have all kinds of facts that tell us that this doesn't work, but we believe that we have to have this well thought out plan to march forward, and it just doesn't work that way. Now, it can work that way in a corporate situation. A corporate situation is very controlled. You have control of many more of the variables in that situation, right? When I managed projects and programs in the financial services world, well, yeah, I mean, you did have to plan things, right? Because you had to have these people available for this, and these people had to have this thing ordered and ready, and all that stuff. But that's a structured situation. It's an imaginary. Well, it's not imaginary. I mean, it's real, but it's a made up environment that things happen in, right? And there's processes and ways that things work, and those are made to work by the people inside that organization. Life doesn't work that way. It's not all structured and set up that way, right? It's not set up in such a way that you can put the pieces together and you just pull these pieces from here and then you're able to create something out of it. Life is very different and it is very complicated. I don't want to sit here and say that it's simple or that it's easy, because it's not. It's hard and it's complicated. But you have to approach it in a way that recognizes the fact that you're just not going to know everything that's going to be in your way. You're not going to know what's going to work and what's not going to work. You're not going to know how people are going to react. You're not going to know how something is going to make you feel, right? I mean, you might think that you want to go off and do this thing, but when you do that thing for about 15 minutes, you realize that you can't stand doing that thing, right? Or you end up doing something and you realize that you really, really love doing it. I mean, it's a big, complicated thing. It's a big, complicated beast to manage when you are relying on certain outcomes. But when you stop relying on those outcomes, it actually gets much more simple. But in order to do that, you have to trust, right? You have to trust that when you hit that stone, that obstacle, that roadblock, you have to trust that you will find another way around it or another way to make it happen. And that really is the secret of being successful. And I don't mean secret in any kind of a magical way. I mean, that's just the thing that people don't know. That's the way that we are taught to approach the world is not at all like that, right? And that's why it's so difficult to flip your brain around and begin doing it a different way. And everybody is going to tell you, oh, well, this, that's not going to work, because that's not how we do it. You have to have a plan, and you have to go to a lawyer and get your LLC, and you have to do this, and you have to have an Excel spreadsheet that has all your revenue projections in it. Not that any of that stuff is bad, but that's not the stuff that gets you to where you want to be, right? So you've got to be able to trust that it will work out. And if you want to, I mean, I'm calling this video How to Trust, and if you want to really know how to trust, the short answer to that is that you just have to realize that this whole idea of knowing how everything is going to turn out doesn't work. It never has, it never will, and the only way to be successful and to accomplish anything is to just be open to whatever may come along. One of the specific examples that I want to give you, and this has taken me a really long time to get to a point where I'm comfortable with this, but one of the big concerns that I hear all the time from folks is well, what about the money? What about this? I got all these bills, and I got to pay this, and I got to pay that, and this is where my money comes from, and how do I deal with that? Well, the money thing is tough, and I think that the biggest thing that you have to be able to do there is you have to be able to trust that you will find a way to make the money. And part of that is just being open to the idea that there are a great many different ways to make money. There are a whole lot of different things that you can do and ways that you can make money to support yourself and to fulfill the financial needs that you have. But you also have to be just really open to the fact that you aren't always going to know exactly where the money is going to come from. I've reached a point where, generally speaking, I know where about the next 3 months of money is going to come from, right? So I know when I pay next month's bills, I know that the money is probably going to come from about here and here. In the following month, it's probably going to be a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here. And then the month after that, I think there's going to be a big check that's going to come in and it's going to do that, right? So I usually feel pretty comfortable about the next 3 months or so. After that, when you look at month 4 and month 5 and month 6, you're kind of like, yeah, I'm not sure where that's going to come from. I really don't know where the money is going to come from for 4, 5, and 6 months from now. Now, don't get me wrong. There has been months, and there probably in the future will be months when I don't know where next month is going to come from, and that's part of it. But on average, I generally know where about the next 3 months of income are going to come from. Beyond that, I don't know. And it's taken me a really long time to get really comfortable with that. And the distinction there is, it's not I don't know if it's going to come in. It's I don't know where it's going to come from, right? Because I know that I will have anywhere between 6 and 12 to 15 different things going on that could potentially bring money in, right? There's usually something going on with How to Quit Working. There's usually some sort of a promotion. I usually have some sort of a real estate deal of some sort in the hopper. I may have something else completely unrelated going on. I may have something that I'm in the process of selling. I've got some antiques right now that I'm just interested in moving, and I know there's going to be a couple of $1,000s that's going to come in from that, right? So there's always something out there that has the potential to bring in money, and you don't have to know exactly what, when, where, and how the details of that are going to work out. You just have to know that it will. And I'll tell you, it has taken me, I'm in my 4th year of not receiving a paycheck. I have not received a paycheck or any 1099 income, or I'm sorry, I can't even remember what not 1099, but the other form. I've totally forgotten the tax status of regular taxable salary. But anyway, I haven't received a regular paycheck in over 4 years. And it's at a point where I now have 4 years of proof that yes, indeed, something ends up happening. Something ends up happening when you put enough irons in the fire. You're not going to know exactly where all of the money is going to come from, but you do know that it's going to come in. And it took a good 3.5 before I got to a point where I can really be comfortable and relaxed. I mean, I can sit here and relaxed and comfortably tell you, I do not know how I'm going to pay my bills 4 months from now, but I do have a tremendous level of confidence that of the many things that I have going on, something is going to come along that is going to create income in that 4th month from now. So it's all about trust. And I don't know how to tell you how to trust that that's always going to happen, other than to tell you got to start to practice. Right? You've got to start to practice, and you've got to start to put yourself into some of those situations that are uncertain so that you can actually see that it works. Because the key here is you've got to get to that point where you have the level of trust that is so great that you can actually take the risks and take the action that you need to take to be successful and to have the things that you want. You will never have the courage to take those steps until you've developed the trust that is necessary to know that it's going to be okay. So do something. Go out there and do something that is going to put you in a situation where you will learn that it's going to be okay. You've got to go out there and you've got to do those things that will teach you and show you and illustrate to you that it will indeed work out. If you found that to be helpful, I would encourage you to go over to howtostartliving.com and get more information about how to start living, which is an amazing new way of looking at life that I have discovered and am beginning to share with you and learn how to share with you, because I've had some really wonderful epiphanies and some really wonderful experiences over the past 4 years that have put me in a place where I am mentally more happy and satisfied and excited about life than I have ever been, and I want to share that with you, and that is why I have created How to Start Living. So go over to howtostartliving.com and enter your information and get more information about how to start living. I look forward to seeing you in How to Start Living. I look forward to seeing you next time on the How to Quit Working Show.
Thanks for joining us on the How to Quit Working Show. Tune in next time when we'll talk to another amazing person just like you who is now living the ultimate life of freedom and doing it on their terms. If you want to learn how to quit working and get these episodes delivered directly to you, visit howtoquitworkingshow.com.